Hi, I'm Elizabeth with the New Lenox Public Library. I'm a youth services librarian, and today I am going to show you how to make tissue paper flowers. So here I have a couple of examples. This one I tied a little bit of twine around it so that I am able to hang it on things. So I'll show you how I did that as well. So as you can see, they look a little bit different, and we'll talk about that as we do the project. So the first thing you're going to need to do is grab your tissue paper. I have here 6 layers of tissue paper. And what I'm going to do is I am going to measure out a square. So I'm going to do a 6" by 6" square. Excuse me. But you can do your square bigger or smaller depending on how large or how small you would like your finished project to be. But I think that this is a pretty good size for this project, and if it was much smaller, it would be probably a little bit trickier. So if you've never made tissue paper flowers before, I would say start with this size or maybe a little bit bigger just to get kind of used to it. Excuse me. Again, this is 6 layers of tissue paper, and I just measured out a 6 by 6 square. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut through all the 6 layers all at once. And it doesn't have to be super perfect. Okay, so I've got my 6 layers of tissue paper here in my square. So the next step that you're going to do is you're going to fold over about 1/2 inch. And then you're going to flip it and fold 1/2 inch again. And you're just going to continue flipping and folding until you get to the end. And folding. So I used white tissue paper today because that's what I have available to me at home right now. You can definitely use any color tissue paper you like. You could use multiple colors of tissue paper. You could make every layer a different color. It just really depends on what you want to do. There's really no wrong way to do this project. Okay, so I have all of my layers folded over. Typically I would use a chenille wire or pipe cleaner to secure the middle, but I don't have that at home with me right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and staple it. I'm eyeballing about where I think the center is. And then I'm just going to staple through all the layers. There we go. So then if you wanted to tie twine or yarn or string around your flower, this is the point where I would do it, because once it's all fluffed, it's going to be really tricky to try to get that string in there. So go ahead and do that if you would like to add twine or yarn. Okay, so as you see, and as I mentioned earlier, these flowers do look a little bit different even though they're all white and they're the same size. This one I rounded the edges, and this one I basically cut triangles at the end edges. So depending on what you decide to do at this point is going to change the look of your flower. So you could just leave it as is, but I do like to add a little something. So I think I'll point them because I kind of like how they look when they're pointed. So again, it doesn't have to be super, super perfect. I'm just cutting through all the layers at once, and I'm cutting them to make a point. Okay, I'll get rid of these scraps here. Okay, so our ends are pointed. So then go ahead and kind of pull, not too hard, but pull out your flower a little bit. And then we're gonna get to the fun part. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take layer by layer. So I just have one layer of tissue paper here, and layer by layer, you're gonna pull it in towards the center and kind of fluff it. As you go. And you just want to go layer by layer, around and around. Just make sure that you're not too rough with it, because you don't want to rip your tissue paper. Okay. So again, just one layer of tissue paper at a time, just pulling it gently towards the center. And you can fluff it how you like. Kind of shape it however you want to shape it as you go. And then this is the last layer. Okay, so then at this last layer, this gets a little tricky, but you can probably, at this point, you can just kind of flip it upwards towards the rest of the flower. So just flip that upwards towards the rest of the flower. And then you're just gonna fluff it. Keep fluffing it and shaping it until it looks how you want it to look. And then there you are, you have your paper flower. And as I said, you can experiment with different ways of cutting the ends, and they'll give you a different look for the flowers. You can use all kinds of different color tissue paper, whatever you like. And it's a pretty simple craft with things that you probably already have at home. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next Maker Monday.